that just gave me the chills.
I'm scared.
All right, let me conclude. This is a statement from Donald Trump, quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran," etc.
So the US has just struck 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Donald Trump posted this on X about like 10 minutes ago. "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iranian airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home." Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, the type of ordnance it would take to do this would likely need to be dropped from a B-2 Spirit. It would be the MOP, which is a massive ordnance penetrator. It weighs about 30,000 pounds. It can penetrate over 200 feet of concrete. There's a chance they might have needed to use multiple of these to actually get the job done. I'm sure more details will come out as this develops. But just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter where I go into more detail on many of these topics. The link to that is in my bio. Go to my profile, click the link, drop your email in, and you'll be good to go. That's all I got for now. I'll see you in the next one.
Donald Trump just launched an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, Iran. He had the nerve to say, immediately after launching an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, he had the nerve to say, now is the time for peace. That's like walking into a bar, knocking somebody out and breaking their jaw, and then when they get up and square up to fight you, you say, hey man, I just want peace, bro. Now's the time for peace. Well, if you wanted peace, maybe you shouldn't have broke that fucking person's jaw. This is mental, what we're witnessing here. So, don't say you weren't warned. I warned you about this in advance. There was detailed reporting that came out, like, for example, from Cy Hirsch. Cy Hirsch said the decision was already made, not only to attack the Iranian sites, but he says also to do regime change in Iran. Now, understand something. All the talk about Iranian's nuclear program, it's all bullshit. It's all a smokescreen. It's the cover story that they're using to go after the Iranian regime and try to get rid of it because it threatens Israeli hegemony in the region. Because, stop and think about it, who pulled out of the 2018 nuclear agreement that Iran was abiding by completely? Donald Trump did.
I was hoping that this administration would not do that. I don't think that this strike will in any way, well, at least permanently end Iran's nuclear program. They'd already moved much of the relevant material out of their nuclear sites. I don't think this will lead for the Iranians to sue for peace. So it's now in the Iranians' hands. The Iranian leadership that existed about 10 days ago would have been relatively prudent and not rush to attack U.S. forces. I think that's still the case. I think an immediate widespread attack on U.S. forces in the region is unlikely, but I think the probability of a wider escalation and continuation of this war is greater now than it was a few hours ago. Whatever form of Iranian government survives, whether it's this one or a more nationalist, a more militarized one, or whether this regime in fact stays in power, they're not necessarily more likely to give up their nuclear program. So if President Trump thinks this will cause the Iranians to sue for peace and give up their nuclear energy program, I don't see that happening. But again, there's just so much that's unknown. President Trump obviously is seeing intelligence that I don't, and so decided to roll the dice. The question now is, does Israel stop bombing? I mean, I saw some Israeli sources saying they consider the nuclear program eliminated, but what's nuclear's war goal? What is Israel trying to get out of this? They're not just trying to end Israel's nuclear program, they're also trying to, as they've admitted, destabilize the current Iranian government.
Let's focus our efforts now, though, coming from Republicans here, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican of Georgia. I want to put this up here. She says this: that every time America is on the verge of greatness, we get involved in another foreign war, she says. There would not be bombs falling on the people of Israel if Netanyahu had not dropped bombs on the people of Iran first, she says. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. This is not our fight. Peace is the answer. She also says, let us join together and pray for the safety of our U.S. troops and Americans in the Middle East. She says, let us pray that we are not attacked by terrorists on our homeland after our border was open for the past 4 years and over 2 million gotaways came in. She says, let us pray for peace. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, somewhat of a kind of now vociferous critic of this action, alongside some of her Republican colleagues in the House like Thomas Massey, who called this unconstitutional.
You started this. The 40 to 50,000 American soldiers in the region are now legitimate targets. Every American citizen and soldier is a legitimate target. We were negotiating, we were using diplomacy, but now you've chosen for the blood of your soldiers to be spilt. The American president in the White House chose to collect the coffins of 40 to 50,000 American soldiers. We will start this, and we will show not only your military presence or military bases in the region, even the presidency of Trump will not be in existence anymore.
Congratulations, President Trump.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
It's always two dumb telling each other exactly. Wallahi azim henni al-tanan majneen. They're over here celebrating and congratulating each other when they did nothing. The strikes that Trump initiated against Iran hit nothing. The nuclear sites that he targeted had all been emptied weeks ago. Fordo nuclear facility, every single remnant of enriched uranium had been transferred out of the facility. There weren't even any people there. This is just two egotistical old men patting each other on the back for accomplishing nothing. But what will happen is that American bases are going to be targeted. American infantrymen, military men are going to be legitimate targets. I don't know what happened to America first, but that sure is not it. We're sitting here congratulating one another for putting Israel first.
The reason why we are going to war is because of hate. Hate is expensive. I want y'all to realize that so many people voted for this man because of the hate that they had towards certain communities of people, and now we are going to go to war. It is sad. It is honestly sad. And when I sit here and I think about all the other things that's going on in people's lives, including mine, I'm like, a war on top of that is not needed. It's not needed. I didn't ask for this. I didn't. I don't want to mess around and find out. This is not a part of my experience. I don't want this. I don't. And it's weird because I'm just like, dang, because these people have so much hatred in their hearts, we are going to have to deal with this.
Well, it happened. The U.S. just bombed Iran, 3 different locations. So we're going to war. And a lot of us Americans don't want this shit. But people voted for this idiot in office, and now we're fucked. So everybody stay safe out there in the U.S. and in Iran. Know that a lot of us Americans didn't want this shit, and we didn't vote for this shit. So here we go.
Y'all are not getting it. It's not clocking to you that Trump and this administration are going to do exactly what they want to do. They just attacked Iran without any congressional approval. So when folks are talking about, oh, we can't do this, we shouldn't do that because they're going to declare martial law, they're going to do it if they want to do it. These people are not fixated on following the law, as we have seen with these ICE raids and kidnapping, and doing everything that they can possibly do to repeal the 14th Amendment. Which, yes, that impacts you. Has no desire of the Constitution at all. And more than likely stole an election. And all the while has 34 felony convictions. These folks are playing a different game. So when people are running around here talking about how to do proper processes and going through impeachment and all that other bullshit, y'all are trying to follow procedures and law and decorum. Folks are constantly talking about the Middle East or dictatorships. The United States is the land of the lawless. And folks are going to have to clock it and clock in before this government clocks you out.
Well, that's official. We're in a war with Iran. Now's the time for peace. You're gonna drop bombs all over a country and say it's time for peace now. He's a fucking idiot. I don't know what happens next. Every country in the world just saw this, so I guess we'll see. This motherfucker actually got us in a goddamn war. These fucking idiots, man. I'll never forgive them for this.
By now, most of you have heard that the United States has struck Iran's nuclear facilities using B-2 bombers. One thing I haven't heard a lot of people talking about is the fact that we struck them only a few days after their 5.2 magnitude earthquake. An earthquake that some have suspected was a potential nuclear test. It's important to note that Iran does experience earthquakes from time to time, so this could all just be coincidental. Either way, I do think it's important that we keep that in mind. Right now, I'm hearing that it's being reported that Iran says that they have moved personnel and material from these nuclear facilities before the strikes, but only time will tell if that is true or not. That's probably a big reason as to why they decided to strike so quickly, because they knew it was a possibility that they would end up trying to move these materials elsewhere. After the strike, Trump announced it on Truth Social, and Truth Social ended up experiencing an outage shortly after. Was this a potential cyber attack against Truth Social? I don't know. It also could have been the fact that several hundred people at the same time were going to look at his post. Who knows? We know that Iran has great cyber capabilities, and now that the US has officially entered this conflict and carried out strikes on Iran, something that Iran has warned against, it's very possible that we could see attacks on critical infrastructure as well as banking via cyber attack. The FBI, as well as other agencies and media outlets, are warning of the potential for lone wolf-style attacks carried out by Iranian sleeper cells. Sleeper cells are people who entered the country and are waiting orders to carry out terror attacks. So if I were you, I would avoid mass gatherings for the foreseeable future. I would carry your on you at all times, and if you have some type of armor, I would look into carrying that on you as well. Of course, people love to come into my comment section and say, oh, you're a fear monger. Guys, this stuff is happening real time, very quickly, and it will escalate even quicker. So personally, I'm going to take steps to protect my family. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. And personally, I always suggest that you guys prepare to the best of your abilities. Now is a great time to make sure that you're stocked up on the preps that you don't have or the preps that you've been putting off, especially if they come from overseas. Anyways, on a separate topic, I only came on here to update you guys because several people have been asking for it, but this is going to be my last video for the foreseeable future. As most of you know who followed me for some time, me and my wife are expecting our daughter to be born in September, and I want to take as much time to spend with my son, my wife, and our new baby girl when she comes. And honestly, I think that's more important than ever, especially considering everything that's happening in the world. So guys, take this time to prepare. Spend time with your loved ones, call your loved ones. If you're not right with some of your loved ones, get right with them. And as always, guys, stay safe, stay prepared.
With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago.